Hey everybody, we are in South Africa here in the state of KwaZulu Natal. We are near the Drakensberg Mountains, but we're not in them quite now. We are now instead in what we would call the foothills of the Drakensberg Mountains. We are not in a basalt, volcanically focused area and derived area. We are now in an area derived of sedimentary rock, a mixture of sandstones and shales, not unlike the United States Great Plains actually. A few of the key processes that happen in these landscapes, of course, we have weathering of the rock, of the sedimentary rock. We should expect erosion of the weathered material once at least the slopes are steep enough and there's enough rainfall, which there is here. Look behind me over here, all those slopes, and also on the other side. Do you see them? You see the rocks peeking through, right? That's because the material that was weathered has been eroded away and moved down slope. And if you look on my side over here, you also see where the sediment initially ended up in these lower areas that are all around me right now. I'm really under all of those steep slopes. You see them now all behind me. The lower areas are behind my shoulders, ultimately on the way to the outlet of this area. And so there's a big set of those sediments. In fact, it's not just one set, there are many sets on top of each other here in this region. After the deposition of each set, there was a little bit of time for a small soil to form. And so you have a deposit with the soil formed inside, new deposit a while later with a new soil formed inside, repeat again. In one spot I found a set of 7 of those, which is really quite unusual. I'm not saying it's a world record or in any sense of in any stretch of the imagination, but it is rather unusual and makes this place, of course, really interesting to study. Because for every soil, we can figure out a few things about what was the environment at the time of soil formation. So just what kind of plants were there, what kind of climate was there to some extent, and what kind of processes formed that soil. So it's sort of an archive. The word for those old buried soils, if you want to know, and you do, is paleo-sols, old soils. So in the present, though, we're not anymore in the game of build-up and soil formation. We are now in the game, as you can very clearly see over here, in the game of eroding. So initially we eroded the top slopes and we dumped material over here. Now, as you can very clearly see, especially over there where those hugely acute edges of a gully are visible, now we're in the game of eroding from here and sending it even further down, all the way out, ultimately to the Indian Ocean. Now, is that a problem? Yes, it is a problem if this is where you live, if this is where your cows graze, as the people here have a lot of cow grazing. They survive off the cattle, partially. And so you see a lot of efforts behind me as well to limit or attempt to limit that erosion. So we have the walls over here, several of them, as you can see, made by the local people. In an attempt to stop erosion or stop widening of the gullies. You see that this gully, the one that we're standing in front of here, is already plenty wide, and further widening is simply further loss of valuable pasture land. In addition, on occasion, if a gully kind of cuts off access to a piece of land, then also in that way you can really rapidly lose valuable pasture. That's the case over there. You see my finger. That piece of land is now inaccessible to cows. And therefore is not worth, not worth anything in terms of grazing and productive capacity. You see me wipe my sweat. That's because it's hot here. It's hot here because it's summer, southern hemisphere, very early in the calendar year. So February, March. This is early March right now. Right. I think that's it. Did I mention that you have to come here on a holiday? I did not, but you do have to. So do come here, explore the world, and find out about these amazing gullies and the tunnels that they form when they erode further. Ciao.